Baba Kama, Perek Aleph, Mishnah, Beis. Okay, this time I'm in a sling, which is probably irrelevant to the Mishnah. Last Mishnah I wasn't, but we'll start the Mishnah and see where that comes in. Kol shechavti b'shmirasai, anyone that shechavti b'shmirasai, that's chayiv in shmira. The word chavti means chayiv in shmira. Anyone who's mechuyev to watch a specific item, hichsharti es nizkoi, has prepared the nezek that happens to the item. Which means, if you're chayiv in the shmira and you don't do it, that's the unspoken part in the first line of the Mishnah. If you're chayiv in shmira and you don't do that shmira, then you're hichsharti es niskar. You've prepared the nezek which ensues, the nezek which happens to that item. Perhaps in my case, if you don't watch yourself, then you end up responsible for what happens to you, i.e. a sling. But relevant to the Mishnah is the fact if a person has an item, property, which he needs to look after, and he's chayiv to look after, if he neglects that responsibility, he's going to be chayiv for the nezek which ensues, i.e. chayiv to pay for it. Hichsharti b'miktsas niskoi, if a person is hichsharti b'miktsas niskoi, if he's only prepared miktsas, part of the mazik, which means that let's say he has a bor which he's dug, and someone else has started the pit. It's 9 tefachim deep, and he does the last tefach, because as we know, a bor is not considered a bor until it becomes 10 deep. And if he only does the last one, so he's hichsharti, he's only prepared miktsas, the last bit. Miktsas niska, he's prepared the last bit. Chayiv b'tashlumi kehechsher kol niska. He's chayiv in its responsibility as if he has prepared the entire thing. Because since you finished it off, although only partially by doing part of the bar, since you finished it off, you've done the last bit, therefore you've made it into a mazik and you're responsible in its entirety. You don't share the value of the mazik with the guy who started it, you're chayav on it entirely. Okay, now the Mishnah is going to discuss three other issues. The first issue which is going to discuss is the nechasim that you damage. When are you responsible for the damage? That you've damaged an item. Nechasim she'ein bahen me'ilah. If you damage nechasim she'ein bahen me'ilah, they do not have me'ilah, i.e. it's referring to things that are not hektish. If you damage a shor shel hektish, your ox goes out and damages an ox of hektish, it's not called shor re'eu. It says in the pasuk shor re'eu, your friend's shor, i.e. it's coming to exclude that if you damage hektish shor, you are not going to be responsible. Nechasim shel b'nei bris. If you damage nechasim shel b'nei bris, means people of Yidden, you damage property which belongs to b'nei bris, Klal Yisrael, i.e. again, shor re'eu is coming to exclude a nechasim which belong to a guy. You're not responsible only if it belongs to a Yid. Nechasim hamyuchadim, nechasim which belong to a specific person, i.e. lafuke, if it belongs to hefker or doesn't belong to anyone, then you're going to be potter, because it's not shor re'eu. So it has to be myuchadim which are destined to belong to a specific individual, then you're chayiv for the nezek. Now the Mishnah discusses a new category, not only what type of property are you responsible for damaging, but as well where. Where are you responsible for when the damage takes place? The Mishnah says, you're responsible any place that your shor damages someone, except for two exclusions. A place which is destined only for the nechasim of the mazik, of which means that you had no right to be there, because at the end of the day, the mazik's nechasim, you had a right to be there because it was your field and your shor was allowed to be in your field, and someone else brings something in there. So if damages your potter, because you could tell the guy, hey, what were you doing here? You had no right to be here in the first place. What is your ox doing in my field? And therefore, if my ox damages, I'm potter because you had no right to be here. And one more exclusion, Rishus HaNizik v'Hamazik, a Rishus which belongs to both of them, i.e. Rishus Shel Shutfim, it belongs to two people, and therefore you both have permission to be there. In that case as well, since we both have permission to be there, it's your responsibility to look out to make sure it does not get damaged by my shor. Okay, and the final discussion in the Mishnah is not only what property you damage on chayiv on, and not only where it takes place, but also how do you pay. So the final line of the Mishnah is chav hamazik l'shalem tashlum nezek meitav haaretz. If you have to pay for damages, you have to pay from the best of your property, which means you can't go and pay with it with what's called subin. You can't give him grade B stuff to pay for your mazik. You have to give him grade A tashlum. And that's the end of the Mishnah.